Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and I am here today with Carla de Puerto Rico and CortesNYC. They are a power couple of musicians. They work together and we're going to talk about their music and their process. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Awesome.
Right off the bat, can you tell listeners what they should be tuning into? Is there a project you just released?
Yes, I just released my song Cucando. It's out on all the platforms. It's a super fun and groovy song, so go check it out.
Okay, and that's a single, and it's a music video too, right? Off of your album Noches Mágicas?
So this one is a single of a new series of singles that we're putting out for 2023.
Oh.
Yeah. But we do have a music video. It's on YouTube. It was filmed around the High Line here in New York. So super fun, bright. We just wanted to keep it a little bit dreamy to capture kind of like that energy that the song brings and the sound brings out.
Dreamy. I'm gonna start with interviewing Carla, and then we're gonna move on to your partnership, and then we're gonna interview CortesNYC. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
So Carla, according to your website, you grew up singing traditional music in Puerto Rico, like boleros and plenas. How was that transition? When did you start writing your own songs and branching out into different styles?
Yeah, so I started writing songs here in New York. So first I wanted to put music and I wanted to do something here, but I was very used to making music in a group setting. So I started to experiment and open up in songwriting and creating my own lyrics. First I started with putting just covers out on YouTube, and out of the necessity of wanting to have something original so that YouTube wouldn't flag it, came out to make our own music and make our own songs. I always had like ideas, but yeah, I was like, you know what, I gotta write it and I gotta say what I feel. So that's
this was like in the late 2010s?
That was, yes, late 2010s. Yeah.
Because you first released a song, Una Vez Más, in 2021.
Yeah. That was my first original single.
And the first release.
And my
actual
first
distributed release.
Yeah, exactly. And that one was the first song that we wrote together and that we worked together. It actually came out so easily that it was very surprising. It started because we were playing, Chris was playing the guitar.
Three chord song.
3 chords, something easy that we knew that we could do.
Yeah.
Hey, how many Beatles songs are 3 chords?
Yeah.
Una Vez Más is very catchy.
Yeah.
When I shared it, it literally was stuck in my head for a couple weeks after.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah, we were definitely going for catchy. Before Una Vez Más, when Carla was talking about doing her covers, we were experimenting with doing covers of songs that she could sing, though the music wasn't a cover of the actual music, but obviously the lyrics and the melody and the singing part of it was a cover of the actual singing part. But I think in that process we realized we wanted something catchy, something fun, something pop, if she wanted to write original songs. So that's why Una Vez Más was like our attempt at saying, okay, we aren't the kind of musicians that could do very elaborate songs or anything like that. We're just starting. Let's go with 3 chords. Let's go with something simple, a chorus, a verse. Concentrate on a fun, theme.
Yeah.
And it was born out of that.
Yeah. So at that point, that song was inspired by Despacito. Me growing up, I listened to a lot of reggaeton and like tropical music. So that's why all of my songs, they have that essence.
It's called Pop Urbano?
Yeah.
And what is Pop Urbano to someone that's never heard of it before?
Well, right now, I feel like if you listen to Latin music or if you go to Spotify and you search pop, you're gonna listen to this genre because it has been very globalized. So it's basically the mix of like a reggaeton or urban drum, but with a pop melody or a pop theme song, meaning like a love song. Most of the time it's love songs or party songs, that not necessarily has like the strong drums and rhythms that the original reggaeton music had, but it's more kind of like ballad and poppy, and
there's more space.
There's more space and a lot of more instruments, I feel, as well.
Yeah, when we were first thinking about, you know, her original music, and we were thinking about what kind of genre could we do, and I was doing, I have more like a hip hop background.
Boom bap.
Yeah, exactly. Boom
I'm
bap
learning
style.
too. We're learning together.
So we were looking at, well, what's Latin music right now, and like we said, since Carla was doing covers of, like, let's say salsa or bolero or traditional Latin music, we started looking at what's Latin music right now, and we realized, well, Latin music right now is this mishmash of everything all piled in, because they make all this music, this whole genre and all this culture go through this little bottleneck of music called pop urban or urban pop or Latin pop or whatever they call it. And in that Latin pop category, you have rock influences, you have hip hop, you have actual rap, you have reggaeton, you have salsa influences, cumbia,
R&B,
rancheros, Mexican rancheros. Like, you have everything all into this one category.
Yeah.
Kind of like Queens.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, kind of like
What
Queens
is your guys'
Yeah.
connection to the borough? Because it's different, right? Carla, you moved here and you were born here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
I mean,
Yeah, you can go
the
first.
connection there is I was born here. I was
Yeah.
born and raised in Queens. Grew up-
Painting along the 7 train, right?
Correct. All on the 7 train. That was always my channel in and out of Manhattan, and different school and different neighborhoods with friends and all that growing up. And then Carla came.
Yeah.
When did you come to
Yeah, I
New York?
moved in 2013, so it's gonna be actually 10 years this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, like, I used to visit New York a lot, but I never visit Queens. Like, the family members that I had were always in the Bronx. So when I moved to Queens, it was like a nice surprise, and especially when we were living in Flushing and traveling through the 7 line, it was nice to see such a big community and diversity that I didn't know it existed in Puerto Rico. Sometimes when you're in Puerto Rico, you're like in this bubble of like, where it's just us. But when you come out of there and then you start to see similarities between other cultures and you, not only physically, but the way that they act and interact with each other, I think like Queens is the best world. So I will say Queens, like, yeah.
You did say that your music that you write has this influence of all these different styles, but you definitely have a distinct sound that's you.
Yeah.
You have a melodic flow, the way that you use your voice, the way that you compose, that I don't think you could say is taken from anywhere. It comes from inside of you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I'm curious, how do you hope your music impacts others?
I hope that, I mean, what you just said it's very special, because I hope that they're hearing my voice. I do get a lot of inspirations, obviously, like we all do, but I hope that they can hear my words and that they can understand the message that I'm trying to convey, which is a message of, you know, having a good time, hope, love, self-empowerment as well. Yeah, there's so many things that I try to tell through my music that sometimes I cannot tell through my words.
I feel that.
Yeah. So I know that I'm still using words, but with the melodies, with the music, putting it all together, it just brings such a powerful message that I hope that people get that, and that people are just vibing, you know, having a good time.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I'm hoping.
one thing about Carla's voice when we first started working together was that I realized quickly, like, I have a lot more of a darker perspective and background in music.
And we're going to talk about your album that was very dark about the pandemic.
To me,
that's a dark
that
album.
actually makes me very light and happy. But I have a darker perspective on what music should be. Like, before I listen to pop, I'll listen to heavy metal, or listen to rock, or listen to, you know, rap, like traditional, like darker rap, and, you know, and things like that. Or if it's Spanish music, I'll listen to the darker side of Spanish music. I'm not going to listen to the bright side. But Carla has she's blessed with like a very cheerful, and she can make her saddest songs sound uplifting. I don't know how she does it, but there's something in the way that she presents her voice when she sings And now the way she writes, that I see that the words she chooses, the way she sings, and the way she presents it what we call alegría, just like it's like a happiness. It's not felicidad, it's like alegría. It's a little
what's
different.
the difference between felicidad and alegría?
Alegría is like, it's like just being upbeat, I guess. It's just presenting an upbeat.
It's kind of like joy versus happiness.
There you go.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
There's a joyfulness in her music.
Yeah. True.
And not necessarily happy, because it could be not happy themes and still be joyful.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of my personal favorite songs are actually old jazz songs that are melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good,
There's like a happy edge.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the work, because you guys have been working, and I've been following your careers since you released that first single we talked about in 2021. You've put out so many videos consistently, and the whole album, Noches Mágicas. Noches Mágicas.
You got it.
Estoy hablando inglés, no tengo mi flow.
No, you got it.
She does.
She's got it. She's good.
But I'm curious, the whole process, that you work as a team, and it's the whole process from composing, to recording, to releasing, to promoting. What are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses? And what advice would you give to other musicians that want to be that consistent?
I'll start. I think my strengths are putting the ideas down first, and then once I have like the complete song that we have discussed together, singing it and remembering the words and perfectioning the melodies.
No, she has a talent. You have a real talent. At writing, remembering, and performing. Like
once I got it, once we have discussed it and we know like this is what we're going for. Once I got it, like that's my strength. Like I can do it many times and I can get it done. And then when it comes to promoting, the videos are a process, but I feel like it's the same way. Like once I got it and once I have like, you know, the idea of what is it that we're gonna do, it's just us, so it takes a
You
little
come up with the
time.
ideas for the video, and then he does the technical implementation.
We do it together. Yeah, ideas for the video, we do it together.
yeah, I mean, so we're since we're an actual couple, we're always communicating no matter what we do, on everything, whether it's preparing dinner or what we're gonna do for
That's
vacation.
better than some couples do, my guys.
So this is just another one of those projects like preparing dinner. Like it's something that we're both sharing the task and trying to figure out how we work together.
Serving up a delicious treat.
Yeah, the whole, I would say that the whole process, if you wanted to have like a breakdown of how do we plan something out, let's say if today we said we're gonna do the next song, what is our next song? We already start talking about, I'm already looking at what have we done already to just do something that contrasts, because I'm just a very contradictory kind of person. I like to make something that pops. So something that's different that we haven't done yet. Then I'll tell Carla, hey, start looking around, what do you think? She'll start coming up with some ideas. Maybe she'll hear a song that she likes or something out there that kind of she's feeling. Then I'll say, okay, I can do it or I can't do it. I'll start looking at the beat and say, okay, is that something that I can do? Because I have limitations. So I'm like, can I manage that kind of beat? If I start experimenting and I come up with something that's similar or catchy, then we got it, and then we just hook that thing and we ride it as far as we can go. It might change, but we ride that sucker as far as we can go. She starts writing her verses, her choruses, she comes up
And then you need to figure out what the beat and instrumentation is going to be.
as she's writing,
As we're doing it together.
I'm changing the beat, I'm changing the instruments, I'm changing things as she continues to write, as it continues to evolve. And then once we have a good chorus and a good hook and something that, because she writes, but then you start practicing it.
Yeah.
We do takes and then we see does it sound natural or not.
Yeah, and then because you know how songs, they have different parts, but especially in pop music, you have to have each part make sense. So when we start recording each part, it's when we figure out like, is this working or not?
Some
and
people,
even
right,
musicians.
they don't know how to edit. They repeat it too much.
Yeah.
There's pieces in there that they can take out.
Yeah.
Is that part of what you're saying? Like making sure every piece is well constructed?
Yeah, exactly. Like and that it flows all together.
Yeah, and we edit. We actually handle at this stage. We handle the music, construction, composition, composing music, like video editors. Like we're actually thinking scenes, and we're actually thinking, okay, if we're performing this is the part where you're coming in more energetic, and I'm already imagining I'm going to record you wherever we go with a little more energy in this section. This section, you're kind of like bigger, you're kind of like more to the crowd, kind of singing up to the sky, you're doing that kind of thing. And this part, you're a little more like intense, or you're a little more feeling, and I want to hear that emotion in your voice.
You're thinking steps ahead.
I'm thinking steps ahead of like, because I'm hearing her and I'm saying, well, here, this is an emotional part, that's interesting, and I'm like, I would love to see that. So a lot of times, we've even had these conversations now, like, we're not trying to compete with other musicians out there, let's say, bands and stuff like that. We're actually just kind of like YouTubers, like YouTube musicians. Like we're thinking video, we're thinking music, we're thinking the whole package, the presentation. We're not thinking just the song. Because we're not a band like that.
But that's really how the 2020s are going.
Yeah.
That's really a lot of traditional musicians are struggling with that. And I mean, I'm personally not a very visual person, but I love the work I get to do with QueensNYCMusic about seeing how the videos can become such a great vehicle for getting the music into people's ears and complementing the message.
Yeah, that's definitely what we try to do.
I'm having a paranoid moment. Can I just check to make sure?
It's all recording, yeah.
I'm so unprofessional. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I was like, what if we recorded all that and then it vanished? Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, let me check the battery. This is good stuff. Okay. Oh, we're super good. Okay, I'll take that.
I just wanted to continue. All right, so
we were talking about the process, strengths, weaknesses, and did you have advice for musicians that were getting tripped up at any one of these steps? Because musicians these days are expected to do it all. They are expected to compose, record, release, promote visuals, and it is very overwhelming. You guys manage all of those steps beautifully. So what are some things you struggle with, and how do you overcome those struggles, and how do you recommend other people overcome?
Let me just tackle this. The biggest struggle for us, I would say, is fitting everything in the schedule, in the calendar. I think if we didn't have so many other things happening in our lives that we have to manage, or
if you had millions of dollars,
exactly,
right? We have everyone has day jobs, and
calendar would be no problem. But I think sticking to calendar, sticking to the part where we're kind of massaging the song and kind of making the songs happen, sometimes can get derailed or stay stuck, and then we just quickly decide, okay, that one didn't happen, put it in the folder, start a new one. So that little part of like, kind of going through our own algorithm of like, this sounds cool, this is not that cool, this is between us, this is trending for us, this is not trending for us, and kind of picking and choosing the vibe that we're into at the moment. That is a complicated part. Once we have a song that we lock down and we're like, that's it, that's the song, perform it to the best that you can. Once she's performing to the best she can, she'll just come in, we'll record different takes, maybe record parts, but we know that that's it, and she's trying to perfect that performance. And then I'm just perfecting the mixing, making sure the drum is, sometimes at the last minute I'll switch out a drum and be like, no, that drum is too like obnoxious, I need a smoother drum, or because maybe I really start to hear her emotion in the song, and I'm like, let's soften it up, or let's make it a little more aggressive, maybe it's too soft. Once we have that part of it locked down, it's like going down a hill. It's like a roller coaster ride. At that point, it's just, we're like, go. And we're like, all right, now, we got 2 weeks, we're gonna release it at this time. I'm gonna start already looking at where we're gonna shoot the video, what are we gonna do with that. Without even having titles to a song, I can already be looking at where we're gonna shoot a video, what are we gonna do with it. And
you don't get stuck.
No.
You don't dwell on what's not working. You stick to your schedule and say, I want to release a song, it's going to happen, and you keep moving.
Oh, and there's times that it's going to happen 3 o'clock in the morning. We're shooting a video in some crazy lot somewhere because that's what we can afford right now. And sometimes we'll even shoot multiple parts that belong to different songs.
Yeah.
Just because that's the time allowed and we know that we need these things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, once it comes to like I said, that last part, that roller coaster ride, it's all straight down into video at the same time as the video, photos at the same time, Carla shopping for like whatever, simple outfit she wants to wear, something that contrasts and complements the music. She's doing all that stuff, and then we're looking at the photos that we took, and then we're looking at the footage, and then while I'm editing that video, she's already looking about what's the post, what we're gonna do. She's posting the photos, she's prepping all that stuff. As I'm finishing up the video and getting to a conclusion, we're gonna post it that night, we're gonna make it live. She's making sure that the song is already published and available. She's already talking to, whoever she might talk to, say, okay, what can we do with this? A little promoting. Yeah. I think that our weakest part might be the promoting part, just because it's the end of the marathon and we're exhausted.
We're so tired. Like, I mean, I know that it, like, when you see my social media and my Instagram, you see all my photos or my videos and I post them there. I feel like maybe, the weaknesses will be like the follow-up after the initial post.
But the modern expectations are insane. The idea of posting multiple videos of yourself a day is insane. Like, let's just say it. We're in the 2020s. Don't be hard on yourselves, guys. I'm here interviewing you because I really do believe you guys are standouts in terms of not just the gorgeous, beautiful, original music, but the visual art that accompanies it. I noticed that you're describing the visual art as you really do feel like it's a cohesive piece, like every video is in essence a true part of the song.
Yeah, I mean, we're big believers in that, the music video is the song, basically. It's the performance.
If you don't have a music video, it's like the song is not out for us. Because since we get inspired by live performances, and we like that feel. Making a music video, it just gives us the opportunity to kind of share that how a live performance will be of the song with everybody, with anybody that wants to listen to it or that finds it online or
and initially
at any time of day,
anywhere in the planet. That was an initial part, and that's another reason of our foundation is, Carla is Carla de Puerto Rico. She's from Puerto Rico. Yeah. She had friends and family in Puerto Rico, and one of the initial pushes for us when she was first making her music was, how do we share it with them? Mm-hmm. We're not just going to fly to Puerto Rico and perform. Yeah. We're not just going to be in Puerto Rico like, oh look, we're making new music. So how do you share it with them? You share it with them online through social media and on YouTube. And we're not going to start making like videos that are like fantasy stories or like storylines of like drama and all this stuff. We're going to show performance. Like, we want to show her talent. We want to showcase what it would be like to see her perform live. So the majority of our videos are really, if you'll notice, they're mostly just performance videos of Carla performing. All we're really doing is dressing it in stages. Like, my objective mainly with the visual is what stage would be a nice setting for her to perform in. Normally, typically outdoors. I like to do outdoor settings the best because I feel like.
I keep thinking back to the Fuegos video because it's so fun.
Yeah.
But you had one in Astoria Park that was one of your sadder songs about a breakup. Mm-hmm. And that, I'm spacing on what it is.
Tina Mandarina.
That was the first video I saw of yours.
Oh, really?
And it was in the early days of QueensNYC and I was like, oh, Astoria Park, awesome. And sad song, but there's a joy in the sadness. And I thought it was a good use of the space, as story. So, I want to talk about your relationship. I think our viewers and I am already getting a feel for your relationship just in this conversation, how you guys are flowing together. But you have a song, Son para ti, They Are For You, and I think it's just such a beautiful tribute, not only to your working relationship, but your romantic relationship. How about you read the lyrics in Spanish?
I can read them.
And then I will translate.
So the
Yes, go.
The chorus says, tus ideas y las mías se mezclan tan bien como azúcar y el café, qué suerte la mía de escuchar esas notas que inspiran mi boca a cantar melodía. Aunque sea para nosotros, suena tan hermoso crear fantasía. Esto es vida, esto es vida.
That's wonderful. This is a really cool chorus. This is my attempted translation.
Son para ti.
Wait, can you?
Yeah, go for it.
She
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna
Oh,
translate
I'm
this.
sorry.
We're gonna
Go for
translate
it.
it into English.
Go for it. Go for it.
Your ideas and mine mix together so well like sugar and coffee. How lucky am I to hear this note and it inspires my mouth to sing the melody. Although it's just for us, it sounds so beautiful, it creates a fantasy. Creates a fantasy. This is life.
Yeah,
This is life.
That was it. That's it.
That was beautiful.
But it's just, I was thinking like, this is how they create together.
Mhm.
Sugar and coffee, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
so you're
what
the
was-
sugar and he's the coffee. Bitter and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the coffee is the sugar gets you excited and energized, and it's sweet, and the coffee is it's strong and
Yeah.
Got the power though.
It pushes
That's
you.
it.
Yeah,
Pushes.
pushes.
Let me just say this about Son para ti. So
Yeah.
Son para ti, something that's interesting about it is that goes back to the concept of the boleros that Carla used to sing. It initially came from me challenging Carla and saying, Carla, like you should really write something like those songs that you used to sing, a bolero. Now, boleros are very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Where do they come from and what are they exactly?
You can speak on that.
Yeah, boleros were kind of like the ballads of the past, and they're in
Caribbean.
all.
But not just,
Well,
they're not,
no,
I've seen
all
hashtag bolero on videos from different Latin American countries.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So it's based in Latin America. The big composers, yes, they are from the Caribbean, so like Cuba, Puerto Rico, but there's also big composers in Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, but Mexico, their boleros are a little bit more like rancheras, and that's where it mixes a little bit. But yeah, they were very melancholic love songs, sometimes talking about different type of love, so like in couples or expressing love for a loved one like your father or your mother or it's like a melancholic genre. That's what it is.
And it was always it was a ballad, but a ballad never. It was always it's the guitar, it's the little lonely tapping
The
of the
very
bongo.
long, the very
This
long
one had
notes
a very
and
light.
very.
It didn't have the usual, like the electronic component was toned down.
Mhm.
Right.
For
right.
Son para ti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the writing, so the writing is the part that I'm always gonna uplift the writing and say no, the writing is the song, because you could swap out all the music I did there, and the writing is still, it's a beautiful song, what you wrote, and the lyrics and the chorus and all that. And it's a very, I'm always telling her, and I tell her when she's done, I like, it'll take me a couple of months, and I'll get her when she's not thinking about it, I'll say, you know, you wrote a really good song, I like, it's really nailing the inspiration. What she did in Son para ti is like, she took the language of those old boleros, because they have certain language.
Mhm.
Like, they talk about, like, Sabor a mí is a classic, you know, flavor, my flavor, like you're taking the my taste.
My taste. Yeah.
You're taking my taste with you. Sabor a mí is a classic one. What's the other one?
Bésame mucho.
Bésame mucho is a bolero, right? Bésame mucho, like, it's these things of like, kiss me a lot, or, you know, como si fuera, like, as if it was the first time. It's very romantic, and it's all this like airy type of language that is not in reggaeton.
Right.
It's not in urban music. Like that airy language.
Hey, that's happened in other genres
Of
too.
course.
Let's
Yeah.
be real. That's
Of course.
been.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's refreshing to hear something that was written 50 years ago that's actually talking about birds and trees.
Yeah, there's more
and-
poetry to it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So
yeah.
the poetry of it, I think she caught with Son para ti, because she's saying there, you know, like, it's that type of title,
Mhm.
like those old songs. Like that title is just like those old songs. And when she's saying, you know, your ideas and mine makes like coffee and sugar, that's straight out of like those old boleros. They're always talking about coffee. They're talking about your kisses are like candy or like sweet.
But it's very specific to the fact that you guys are mixing a deep idea.
That's the modern part.
Yeah.
That's the modern part.
So guys, what happens when you're not getting along?
Oh.
You knew this question was coming. How does a couple handle a fight when they're literally in the studio together? How do you guys manage that? How do you work through that?
You're gonna talk into that?
I'm very curious.
I think, you know, when those times come, sometimes I get like very frustrated. But I feel like we find a compromise at the end. Like we both will need our space. We'll have to kind of like get out of that mindset because that will get you nowhere.
Take a break.
Yeah. And yeah, because
and hanging out together.
From the work.
Well, there's been a lot of times where if we're stuck and we're actually bumping heads, and we have to always kind of separate, are we bumping heads from personal taste or are we bumping heads because the project is difficult?
Yeah.
If the project is difficult, then then I say, look, scrap it. Like I don't want to fight with you over a difficult task.
Yeah.
Let's just both admit this is beyond us. Let's just shelf it and move on. Because it should be fun. And at the end of the day, if we're losing that fun, you can't fake fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you ruin the vibe on the song, you can't go and now record a vocal and it's like fun.
Yeah,
There's just no way. And we've had that also in the middle of recording sessions where we'll just cut and be like, look, it's just not happening right now.
It's called Noches Mágicas.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Violentas.
Exactly, yeah.
So we'll on times like that, you know, one of the best things that I do, and I think this is where I have to say, like, my background, my years of experience of working with artists. I'm an art director. I work with artists, and when I'm doing graffiti, I always compare it to graffiti. Doing graffiti walls, you're doing something for free with a bunch of guys. You know, you got a testosterone and egos everywhere. I mean, nobody has bigger egos
like
than
bands.
Yeah, nobody has more egos than a graffiti artist. The guy who puts his name over and over again everywhere. You know what I mean? But even there, like, there's a collaboration and a focus on, like, we're here to complete this. We're not here to fight. So if we're here together and we brought all our cans and everything, then let's tackle the wall. If the wall's too difficult, let's walk away from it, get a coffee, do whatever, talk, chat, joke, and then go at it again.
Yeah.
And forget about like competing against each other. Let's compete against the wall, the task.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll go to a park, we'll start playing music out in the park. We'll go to a bar, we'll listen to live music and kind of like just get out of the zone and realize that other people are enjoying music. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy music. Once we put ourselves back in that setting of where the enjoyment should be, where the final product will be, then we can go back and say, okay, let's look at what we wrote. What did we like it? Yeah. Is it the lyric? A lot of times we do that also.
Is it the lyrics or is it the melody or is it the way that you're singing it? Or there's so many aspects of making music that we have to go through, like, all of that. And going through all of that, it's hard because, you know, we are kind of like throwing stuff there. Sometimes we know exactly what we want, but other times we are creating something.
You discover it as you go.
Yeah.
So how long have you been together? How did you meet? Who fell for who? I was going back to the work. They're a power couple.
So we have been together for, it's gonna be 10 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank
Seriously.
you. And we met in Puerto Rico. So back in Puerto Rico, I was friends with a group of graffiti artists over there, and so they were friends with Cortez. And I found him on Facebook, and I messaged him, and I was like, "Hey, if you're coming to Puerto Rico, like, I would like to see you play." And coincidentally, he was going to Puerto Rico, like, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because it would have been a year later or whatever. I would have forgotten about that message. So it was just a coincidence that I was going in that time period.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going down there for a graffiti event. We had mutual friends that she knew from the area that she grew up in, that I knew them from graffiti. I traveled with them throughout the world. We went to Europe, we went to Ecuador, we did a lot of stuff together. And then I met Carla and we started talking, we hit it off. I would say right away, believe it or not, but like, yes, music was one of the first things that got my attention and why we even started taking things seriously. Yeah. Because
actually, like the second night that. No, I just sang to him. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, we were hanging out. It was like the second night that we were hanging out, and he drew me, and then I sang for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
is this or is this not the